Centuries before the mighty armies of Persia thundered across 3 continents, before Persepolis rose from stone, and before Cyrus the Great was called the King of the 4 corners of the world. There was a beginning, a forgotten chapter, one that began not with an emperor, but a name, Achaemenid. Our story begins in the rugged highlands of ancient Persis, a land of valleys, dry winds, and scattered tribes. The year is sometime around 700 BCE. Persia is not yet a country, not yet a kingdom, just a collection of proud, fiercely independent clans surrounded by ancient giants. From the shadows of history emerges Achaemenid, or in Old Persian, Achaemenid. More a legend than a man, his story is whispered through stone and echoed in royal inscriptions. We know little of his deeds, and yet his blood would one day run through the veins of emperors. Achaemenid likely ruled as a tribal chief, perhaps of a single powerful clan near Anshan, in modern-day Fars province, Iran. He would have been loyal to Elamite overlords, or perhaps already resisting their fading grip. In a time before empires, he preserved the identity, unity, and pride of the early Persians. But Persian life was more than conquest or kinship. Even in these early days, their culture began to form. Songs and symbols passed through generations, textiles woven with myth, fire rituals to honor the gods, and oral tales told under starry skies. And in this world, women held power too, as priestesses, landowners, and matriarchs of noble clans. The legacy of Persian queens did not begin in the courts of Persepolis. It began in the tents of the highlands. And among the tribes, warriors trained from youth. Persian fighters were skilled with both bow and blade, renowned for their agility and endurance. They learned to ride with precision, to strike from a distance, and to fight as one. These early warriors would one day form the backbone of an empire, but first, they were the guardians of a people still finding its name. Achaemenid had a son. His name was Teispes, and unlike his father, Teispes would do something bold. He would claim a title, King of Anshan. Teispes ruled around 675 BCE, and under his leadership, Anshan began to emerge from tribal obscurity. He possibly fought back against Elamite control, carving out autonomy for his people. Though we have no royal palace or golden inscription from Teispes, we have his name, passed down like a secret flame through generations. Persia was a small player in a brutal world. To the west lay Babylon, masters of the Mesopotamian rivers. To the north, the rising power of the Medes, fierce mountain warriors poised to challenge Assyria. And to the east, the wild, scattered tribes of Central Asia. Teispes stood between chaos and ambition. In this landscape, diplomacy was survival.
Peace, seeking words, not war.
Teispes may have forged alliances with the Medes, sowing the seeds for future unity. He fathered 2 sons, Cyrus the First and Ariaramnes, and here the dynasty branched. The next known ruler of Anshan was Cyrus the First, son of Teispes. He ruled in the first half of the 6th century BCE, and he too was a king, but one who now bowed, not to Elam, but to the Medes. By Cyrus the U's time, the Median Empire had become the dominant force in the Iranian plateau.
Behold the might of the Medes. All
All lands bow before us.
Cyrus I was likely a vassal of King Astyages, grandfather of the future Darius I. Yet, beneath the surface, something was changing. Cyrus I fathered Cambyses I, who in turn would father Cyrus II, a boy who would unite Persia and Media, defeat Babylon, and forever alter the course of history. The roots of empire run deep, in bloodlines, in struggle, and in silence. Long before armies marched under the Persian sun, long before gold flowed into Persepolis, there were men like Achaemenid, Thespes, and Cyrus I who prepared the soil for greatness. Centuries later, Darius the Great would carve his lineage into the cliffs of Behistun, naming Achaemenid as the father of kings. Whether by truth or by propaganda, the Achaemenid legacy was solidified, not just by conquest, but by ancestry. Before the glory, before the empire, there were the guardians of memory, whose names survived not in glory, but in blood. The story of Persia begins with Achaemenid.